I keep the drive in a fireproof box under my bed. I almost didn't buy it. I remember standing in the electronics aisle for 10 minutes, talking myself out of $40, then talking myself back in. I don't know why I finally put it in the cart. Habit, maybe. Or some quiet part of me that understood, without language, that things get broken. Sarah moved in 8 months ago, through a mutual friend and a Craigslist listing that described her as easygoing and respectful of shared space. She was easygoing.
That part was accurate.
She moved through the apartment the way weather moves. Present, reshaping things, not particularly aware of what it displaced. She used my conditioner without asking. She'd borrow chargers and leave them in her room. She finished the creamer twice and left the empty carton in the fridge both times. None of it was malicious. That's the thing I kept returning to, after. It wasn't cruelty. It was something more ordinary than cruelty. It was the assumption that the things around her existed for her convenience, and that the people attached to those things would absorb whatever small damages occurred. I'd been building the portfolio for 4 months. Nights, mostly, after my day job, after dinner, after the apartment went quiet. A firm I'd found through a former colleague had posted a long-term contract position, the kind of work I'd been moving toward for 3 years. The kind that doesn't come twice. The project was almost finished. I had 2 weeks left. The laptop held everything. Not just the project, the invoices, the client correspondence, 6 years of freelance records, the quiet architecture of a professional life I'd built mostly in private. It was a Sunday. Poolside, at the complex behind our building. Sarah had come down to sit with me, which she did sometimes, easy and unannounced. She leaned past me to pick up her sunglasses and I felt the shift before I heard the sound, then the water. She was already talking before I looked up. Her hand was over her mouth and her eyes were wide and she was saying she was sorry. It slipped. She didn't mean to. She was so sorry. She couldn't believe it. She was so sorry. I stood up. I reached into the pool and I pulled the laptop out myself. I set it on the concrete. I put my towel over it. I didn't say much. There wasn't much to say that would have meant anything. She offered $60 that evening. She said her cousin had the same model, practically, and maybe the hard drive could be pulled. She said these things from the doorway of my room, shifting her weight, waiting for me to do the emotional work of making her feel less responsible. I told her I needed to try to recover what I could. She nodded and said, again, that she was really sorry. I closed the door. The drive was intact, every file. The project folder opened like nothing had happened. 4 months of work sitting there in the blue light of my desk lamp, calm and complete and entirely mine. I sat for a moment and did not feel relief exactly. Something quieter than relief, like recognizing a face you'd almost forgotten. I finished the last section that night. I submitted it at 11:43. They responded in 46 hours. They wanted to schedule a call. The call lasted 30 minutes. By the end of it, there was a contract attached to an email in my inbox, and a start date, and a city that was not this one. I bought boxes from the hardware store on Wednesday. I packed slowly, room by room, the way you do when you're not in a hurry and you want to make sure you take everything that belongs to you. Sarah saw the boxes Thursday morning. She was pouring coffee and she stopped in the kitchen doorway and looked at the stack near the front hall. Are you moving? Yes, I said. Where? I told her. She set her mug down. When did this happen? Sunday night, I said, more or less. She didn't say anything for a moment. I watched her try to locate herself in the sequence of events, the pool, the apology, the $60, and now this. The boxes, the city I was naming, the timeline she was only now understanding. So you're just leaving? I got the contract I've been working toward, I said. So yes. She nodded slowly, not guilty, not defensive. Just recalibrating. The way people do when they realize a room they thought was empty had been occupied the whole time. I went back to packing. There was nothing else that needed to be said. Some things close quietly, without ceremony, like a door that finally fits its frame.